Welcome everyone to Peaches and Power Bombs. My name is Tina Miller and this is Sarah Hirsch. And we have a 5 million things to talk about today, but we will get through it as much as we can. Um, First of all, we want to send our condolences to the beautiful Bobby Eaton's family who he passed away at 62, either last night or this morning. I don't remember which one, so forgive me on that. He was one half of the legendary Midnight Express. They were probably the most hated tag team in the NWA for a very long period of time during the territory days. We think we're thankful for his contribution to pro wrestling. Sorry, and we send condolences to his family.
And we
Sarah,
also and we also like to send our condolences to the family and friends of the assassin Jody Hamilton. He was known as Assassin One. He was primarily known for his work during the territory days as well in Deep South Wrestling, and he had did some work in WCW as well. And we appreciate all the contributions both of these men made, and we they will be sorely missed.
definitely. All right, Sarah, are you ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
All right. Oh, Bray Wyatt. A couple days ago, we learned, as the to everybody's shock, that WWE decided to release probably their most creative talent on their roster currently in Bray Wyatt.
I think
I don't
everybody was floored.
I don't know why they say budget cuts, but
A part of me thinks there's more to this,
there
but
has to
I don't
be.
know what.
There has to be because if you are releasing people for budget cuts, and I'm going to say this with all the respect towards the people I am about to mention, okay? You know, everyone deserves to have a job, you know.
Mhm.
And these people that are talented and, I'm happy that they have a job to work, a place to work. When you release someone for budget cuts, you release people like Akira Tozawa or something. You don't release Bray Wyatt. Is that
I don't take it as a diss because when you think of Bray Wyatt was one of the most over wrestlers.
yes. Yes.
And in addition, Bray Wyatt was a huge merchandise seller. So it's like if
Mhm.
you're cutting Bray Wyatt for budget cuts, that's
Yeah.
kind of ironic because he brought in a lot of money.
He did. And all of
So
his
that's why I'm just like, budget cuts, I don't quite buy that.
and all of the gimmicks that he has had, or the characters that he has played over the last few years, have all been his own creation, and they
Mm-hmm.
got approved in Vince McMahon world. His creations, all of them, got approved in Vince McMahon world. That shows you
Mm-hmm.
how creative and what a mind that this guy has. And
Yeah, and Bray Wyatt is a Wyndham, and or as a Rotunda, excuse me, Wyndham Rotunda.
mhm,
He's a Rotunda. His dad was IRS, and
yep,
and his grandfather, and had he did wrestling too. Kind of blank at the second moment here, but he has a mind for the wrestling business, and
mhm,
he gets it, and I
yeah,
feel like he took what was missing and made it cool, and that was that extraordinary character, kind of like the
mhm,
Undertaker. You think of the
yeah,
Undertaker, nobody can do it better than Mark Calloway,
no.
and
And if you
then
look, yeah,
and,
and
or Kane.
yeah,
Kane
yeah,
was an extraordinary character. Bray Wyatt went through this entire evolution, and from the Eater of the Worlds, and then he did this whole fiend thing. It kind of just takes you into that alternate universe pretty
yeah,
much. and that was what wrestling was about. And for Bray
Right.
Wyatt to take something like his entire character from start to finish and go to another realm,
Mm-hmm.
that's a in today's wrestling, that is extraordinary. And I think
Yeah, it is.
WWE was crazy to let him go. You know, I mean, he didn't have the best booking in the world, and but
No.
fans still latched on to him, and
Mm-hmm.
so yeah,
Yeah, the Fiend character and how it waned a little bit at the end was 100% not Bray Wyatt. You could tell it was the booking went all the way through with this whole weird Randy Orton thing, setting him on fire, and then he gets resurrected by Alexa Bliss. But Alexa Bliss just turns on him there at the last second, and he just dies in
yeah, we
three
won't get a
minutes.
payoff from that either. So that
No.
kind of made me like,
Yeah.
so it's hard to say what was going on because there was rumors there for a while that he was dealing with mental issues, especially after the passing of Brody Lee, which they were
Yes.
close.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of unfair if that's the case. Okay, he had all this stuff going on, and then you cut him anyway. And usually if it's a mutual decision, they would say that, but it wasn't. It
Yes.
was like, he's been released. Why? Y'all are
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And
Yeah.
I talked about it on Geek Streak
There was
Society.
yeah, there was no I don't think there was anyway. I'm trying to go through everything that, we usually report on Wrestling Inc. And I do not recall anything about Bray Wyatt ever asking for his release or if
Right.
it was a mutual decision. That has not been reported or said. If it was, my bad. But I don't think that this was. And that's
Yeah.
just a hunch. But
Mhm. Yeah, it just honestly it really blows everybody's mind. That's why I was like, I think there's more to this. What? I don't know. And of course, you know, um there was that little thing where they had some Braun Strowman merchandise back on WWE Shop, and people were like, "Oh my God, he's coming back!" And of course, like with the whole Bray Wyatt thing, they're like, "Oh, they're doing the same thing." And like, okay, it's like
calm down.
I could see how they're preparing themselves for that because nobody likes to be got by WWE.
Hmm.
um, but anything can happen really. But I
Yeah.
just you
Zelina
know
Vega came back and she had no reason to.
yeah.
That was weird.
Mhm.
I don't know
You
if we
know
talked about that, but that was weird,
we
especially
didn't.
since her husband is now on AEW. It was weird.
Yeah. And we will get to Malachi Black in a little bit, but yeah,
Hmm.
I think Selena Vega was let go a little bit prematurely considering the
Hmm.
situation. I think it had to do with her OnlyFans account or whatever, but
Yeah, and her
um
Twitch too.
I yeah, and according to Malachi, he was on his Twitch, and he said that it took both parties just to work something out and kind of understand each other, and so good for them.
Hmm.
I Selena Vega, I love her. I
I
lived
like her
through
too.
her. I lived through her, I think. But yeah, I mean, who's to say? It's weird, but I hope they um do her justice this time around, I should say.
It's not looking that way so far, but we
No,
hope it
but
changes.
exactly.
All right, Sarah, are you ready?
Sure.
We're gonna go through the grapevine because there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of juicy grapes there in the vineyard.
Yeah, so of course with Bray Wyatt's release, the number one thing fans are saying is he's going AEW, no doubt.
They say that
But
every time someone gets released, but
oh,
yeah.
I know. Well, here's the thing. We're gonna go to the main subject of the Grapevine because
Mm-hmm.
I talked about this on Geek Street Society as well in my blog on Bray Wyatt. You got to think about those rumors of CM Punk and Daniel
Mm-hmm.
Bryan
Yeah.
coming to AEW, and it's all but said, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, that I think. So with that being said, if he does come to AEW, great. But my worry with Bray, with so much talent coming into AEW, especially if it's CM Punk and Daniel Bryan come, I feel like he might get overshadowed, and we don't want that.
I don't think so, because I think it would be a really, and he might be reluctant to do this, but I think it would be a kind of a homage to Brody Lee if
I
Bray
would like
Wyatt
that, yeah.
took over the Dark Order.
Hmm.
I would like to see it
I could
anyway.
see that. I could see that, and I wouldn't mind that either. And
And probably transform it
I think
into
Brody
something
Lee would have
different.
liked that too. You know,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I don't. He probably Bray Wyatt would probably be the only person that he would trust with
absolutely,
that.
yeah, yeah. So what are your thoughts on the whole CM Punk Daniel Bryan situation? I want to hear your thoughts.
Oh well, um, it's kind of complicated. Um, at first
Anytime
when
you talk
I
about
heard
CM
this,
Punk and Daniel Bryan, it is complicated.
every time the first time I heard this, and everyone was reporting on it, and I first saw it on the smaller sites and stuff, and I was like, y'all say this like every 3 months, okay?
Right.
I've been hearing this since 2013. Okay, CM Punk ate a sandwich, so he's coming back to wrestling. So, no, and he'd be like, "I'm never coming back to wrestling." So I was like, okay, well, I'm skeptical, so we'll just wait and see what happens. And when all of y'all are waiting for CM Punk at the edge of your seats at All Out, and he doesn't come out, and it's somebody else, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to be mad, and I'm going to be over there laughing my head off because you fell for it for the 500th
Mhm.
time.
Yep.
But then we heard that Adam Page is no longer the main event with Kenny Omega at All Out. And they were building this storyline extremely strongly, and you can see our we can you can go and see our video on the story time of Adam Page
Which
on our P.
reached 1,000 views. Thank you,
Woo!
guys.
Yes, thank you. That was exciting for me. It was so much fun to make,
Hmm.
and we're gonna be making more. But anyway,
Yes.
uh, they decided to remove Adam Page, and the rumor, and well, not the rumor, but the way it looked last night, because they kept saying that Christian Gage
Mhm.
was now the number one contender, number one contender, number one contender. I think they said it like 50 times last night.
They wanted to make sure you didn't forget, Tina.
Yes, you know. And I was like, huh, okay. Because I was mad. I was extremely invested. I was so invested in this Adam Page storyline that I made a video out of it, okay, people? And you just take him away from me. No, I was upset. I was getting angry. And then I sat there and I'm like, if the CM Punk stuff is true, you don't want Adam Page's victory to be overshadowed by
Absolutely.
someone debuting. Especially because at CM Punk, that's all people are going to talk about, and poor Adam Page is going to get put in the back burner, and no one's going to care.
If he actually does debut, the
Yes, if he
internet
does.
will implode.
Yes.
The internet will implode, and everybody will probably be shocked, and that's all we'll hear about for the next month. CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. For like
And
the last
I
6 years, I'm like, let it go.
and
Now,
I love CM Punk, okay? He
yeah.
got me back into wrestling in 2010. I'm actually wearing a CM Punk shirt. That's him going GTS. I win.
Nice.
So I love him.
CM Punk is one of those guys, like, he's very tooth and nail. He tells it like it is. He
Yes.
don't cut corners. He don't sugarcoat anything.
No.
And
Mm-mm.
it's kind of like I would say hit or miss in terms of that. You better be on his good side, because if you're not, it's bad.
Yeah.
We don't want to be on your bad side, CM Punk. We like
No.
you.
We love
We
CM
we
Punk
just
here
want
at
to see where
Peaches
you
and
go
Power
next.
Bombs.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Pipe bombs and all. Peaches and pipe bombs, peaches and power bombs. It's the same
Oh
thing.
yeah. 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 Peaches and pipe bombs. That's awesome. We'll have to change our logo for one day and do a whole
Right,
thing on
yeah.
CM Punk. Yeah. Um
Do a
the
CM
thing
Punk
is,
episode, peaches and pipe bombs, one night only.
there was one other little tidbit instead, but I really think from the way last night went, they're going to do the Christian Cage thing, and that's fine because I think that's a credible opponent. But if he gets, he doesn't need to really win like
Right.
Adam Page would, like Hangman would. So
Mm-hmm.
if he lost to Kenny Omega, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because Christian is a legend. He doesn't need to win.
Absolutely. He's still got a lot in the tank, and he's so credible that he could take a loss like that. And
Yeah,
if CM Punk showed up after the fact, he just plays a part in it, and he's
right,
completely okay with it. Because
right.
he's had his time to shine several, through the years. So I mean,
The other rumor is, and I don't think this is true because of what we just talked about, is that CM Punk is actually taking Adam Page's spot in the match going up against Kenny Omega, which would be weird because CM Punk would then need to win and Kenny Omega, that wouldn't work. Plus,
yeah, that's a
I think
no-win situation right there.
I think that would be super hypocritical of CM Punk to do that because he used to complain all the time about The Rock. Come that time when The Rock just swooped in, took his title at the Royal Rumble, and went off
Yeah.
to face John Cena at WrestleMania. He
Hmm.
complained big time about The Rock just coming in and taking his spot like that. So he would be doing the exact same thing to Hangman Adam Page after
Yeah.
Hangman did all that building and all that work, and just take a spot like that would
Literally,
be.
this was like 3 years worth. Absolutely.
I would burn this shirt and be upset if CM Punk did that. So, I don't think that's true. I'm praying it's not true, and I don't really think so. So, because
Yeah,
there
if
were just,
anything, it's more of a favor to Adam Page.
yeah, yeah. I think that's what it's going to be: Christian versus Kenny Omega, and then CM Punk is going to come out after the win and face
I could see
give
Kenny
Omega
Omega
the
cutting a
stink eye.
promo afterwards,
Yeah.
and can you imagine that arena? I mean, he's Kenny Omega's going to have to talk really loud because
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows what's next.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we shall see. And the one thing I like to point out too is when they did the Starcast at the first, I think it was the first All Out or maybe the
Yes.
second.
It
CM
was a
Punk was one of the guests,
yes, he was.
so there's more merit to that rumor.
And he really enjoyed himself too. He really liked
He
it.
did,
So,
he did. He even tweeted about it, and you know, I know he's been very vocal about his time in WWE and everything. You
mhm.
know, and CM Punk is a great wrestler. He's great on the mic and
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
He kind of has gradually stepped back into wrestling from that the Starcast thing to doing that WWE backstage thing.
Yeah.
I really hope at from a fan's point of view, I really hope if he does go to AEW, I hope it replenishes his love for wrestling because we already
I
know he's very
I hope so
passionate
too.
about it. He's a
He
passionate
is.
person.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Um I think it's actually the perfect fit for him. Going back to WWE would actually I don't think that's a good idea.
No. He's
Because
very headstrong and he don't need that.
it's even worse now than it was when he was there.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it was kind of bad then, but it's almost unwatchable right now, save for SmackDown. And NXT, I like NXT, but it's really hard to invest in NXT.
Hmm.
It's good wrestling, but
Yes.
there's nothing that just grasps me and says watch next week on NXT. So, and Raw, it's a lost cause. And I hate
Ye-
that for Bobby Lashley and um, Nikki Ash and all
yes.
of the, Rhea Ripley and all of them, AJ Styles.
Yeah.
I hate that because they work hard. They're trying to do their best with what they're given, but what they're given
You
stinks.
know, the ones that I really like and enjoy, I try to keep up with them. And then you
Mm-hmm.
got people like Charlotte, which no disrespect to her, I'm like, bleh,
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
you just get tired. Sometimes you just get tired of people, and that's
Hmm.
not really their fault, and that's
No,
not
it's
really
not.
your fault either. You just get tired of seeing them, doing the same
Hmm.
old thing all the time. Yeah, I keep up with some of those people that I mentioned. Like, if I know AJ Styles had a match or something, I'll go and find the clip on the YouTube channel, so I don't have to watch all 3 hours of Raw because it's just
I
bad.
have the lovely DVR and I can zip
Yeah,
through it.
yeah, yeah. All right, so Daniel Bryan, I really don't know where he would fit. Like, I can see CM Punk and where he's going to fit in with all of this. Where do you think Daniel Bryan is going to fit in with all this? Who do they hold off on Daniel Bryan and
I
bring
would
him in
say,
later, or
yeah, I would say I would hold off on him, because these with him and CM Punk are synonymous. They both have incredible stories. They both
yeah,
have incredible legacies up to this point.
mm-hmm,
So you don't want to oversaturate it.
yeah,
But it wouldn't surprise me if they did like a group effort with him. But I don't think it would make sense right here. Maybe I'm
mm-mm,
wrong, but yeah, I definitely think let CM Punk have his night
yeah,
because that's what pro wrestling's about.
yep.
It's going to be that classic pro wrestling moment that's going to be talked about for years to come.
And this is going
So
to be easy to say because Daniel Bryan is stupid popular. Okay,
yeah, yeah. So I would
but
say let CM Punk have his night and then
mhm,
wait on Daniel Bryan. When when do you unleash him? No idea.
yeah. But the AEW dynamic is going towards more the yes, they do. They're trying to gain more of a following and viewers and things like that. But they cater to the hardcore. We watch every single week, no matter what's going on.
Yeah.
Group that really loves pro wrestling. CM Punk
Mhm.
is more popular in that pocket,
Yeah.
so them doing him first would make more sense and then bringing
Yeah.
in Daniel Bryan afterwards. And everybody loves Daniel Bryan. I'm not saying that no one does,
Absolutely. And
but
I think too with Daniel Bryan, there you see all these little things leading up to CM Punk. You're not hearing nothing about Daniel Bryan. He had I don't think he's even said anything.
mm-mm.
And I would wait, like keep it like that, and people are going to let it go on for a little while to where people forget about it, and then bam, there he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It kind of it's kind of interesting too on that front. We were talking about Malachi Black and Selena Vega.
Mhm.
His wife Brie Bella, she's a WWE ambassador now, and so
Yeah.
that'd be kind of weird. But I mean,
Not really with that because Bree's not really an active competitor. She just comes by on their big events and promotes stuff and,
mhm,
charity work and all of that kind of stuff. And that's what she does. It's not really a roster type thing, so it's not really as odd as it is with
right?
Selena
Well,
and
true.
Malachi.
And in other words, too, I wouldn't expect to see Brie Bella on AEW programming
Oh
anytime
gosh,
soon.
no.
No,
No. No.
no, no.
She would not do that to herself, and AEW would not do that to her or themselves.
Yeah, nothing against her though.
Oh no, 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 no.
Nothing against her. It
She
just
just doesn't fit the dynamic of what
no,
AEW is all
right.
about, and that's she's just different, and that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Her and Nikki were like WWE lifers, so I mean,
Yep. I would actually, because of how bad their women's tag team division is right now, and that's not against the women that are there, or Natalia, or um,
Tamina, which I
Tamina.
love them as a team.
I do too, and we really hope that Natalia gets better. She had
Mhm.
surgery, right? Yeah, so
Mhm.
we're hoping speedy recovery for her, and she can come back and do what she loves. But if the Bella Twins came back, it would actually be a blessing right now. So put those
I
titles on the map.
mark that on the calendar. I would actually agree. The Bellas got better over time. Are they my favorite team in the world? No, but yeah, just I have a love hate relationship with them. We'll leave it at that.
I'm neutral.
Yeah,
I'm, it,
Switzerland.
yes. I'm neither a cheer nor a boo. I'm like an I understand.
Yeah,
Although I
exactly.
think I might even actually cheer if they actually know, like, yay!
Like,
The
oh my
girl tag teams can have a spot now. But
god.
all right, so let's go through all the things from Money in the Bank until now that we kind of missed because my microphone was acting up that one time.
Yeah, we did a podcast and Tina's microphone was terrible, so we
Yeah,
kind of had to
yeah,
ditch
we
it.
had a, but it's all better now.
Yeah,
So
so before the Nelson podcast, everything that happened before that. Of course, Money in the Bank has happened, and Nikki Ash is the Raw Women's Champion now. She cashed in the next night. I'm happy for her. I did an article for her on Diva Dirt, and I think in her case, it's just a feel good story. I love
yep,
it,
yep.
and she deserved it.
Hmm.
Oh, apparently she pitched the gimmick, and it got approved, and they're just running with it. And I think you need feel good stories time and time
Yep.
from once time in time out or whatever. And I think she's a feel good story, and it's not the first time they've done a superhero gimmick, so why
No.
not now? I mean,
And
oh
they really need a character that resonates with kids
yes,
because they were especially with them going back to live events, and we hope that it stays that way.
yes,
Um I won't get into all that, but uh John Cena is not there all the time,
hmm
and he's getting older. Rey Mysterio is getting older. Bailey turned heel and she doesn't do the huggy thing anymore.
yeah.
So all of these
you
kid
you need something that's going to relate to kids, and
yeah,
she's perfect for it because
she
no
is.
matter if they're I mean there's little girls and probably little boys too, they're like, if she can do it, so can I. That's
Yep.
what they're projecting, and I like that. And
Yep.
you think of those in the past, the Hurricane, Mighty Molly, superhero in training, Rosie, bless
Mhm.
him. um, you know, I know when I think about them, I'm not rolling my eyes. It brings a smile to my face because
Yeah. Yeah.
it was good stuff. I mean,
It
was
makes
it
you feel
was it
good.
wild? Yeah, but it makes you smile, and
It
that's
does.
entertainment. So yeah.
When I was a kid, and this is talking about Mick Foley, who is hardcore legend and all of that stuff. Well,
Mhm.
they're at the kind of when he was slowing down just a little bit. They're at the late 90s. His Mankind gimmick kind of turned into when he got paired with the Rock and Sock connection.
Yeah.
He kind of started leaning more towards the comedic, funny stuff, and then
Yeah.
with the balloons and the This Is Your Life rock, which
Oh jeez.
it happened on my 12th birthday. My
Oh
birthday's on September
wow.
27th. I turned 12 that day, and it was a birthday present to me, not to The Rock, because his is in May. And I won't repeat the words he said. And then he was
The
the
Rock's birthday is the
commissioner.
day after mine, by the way.
And then he was the
Mine's May
commissioner,
1st,
and he
his is
did,
May 2nd.
yeah. And then was the commissioner, and he did all the this is final stuff, and doing all that funny stuff. And I fell in at 12-year-old, 13-year-old me fell in love with that side of Mick Foley. And I think that
Mhm.
if he didn't do any of that, he probably wouldn't be my favorite wrestling
Yeah.
personality of all time.
Mhm.
So I see that, and then I grow up, and I have nieces and nephews, and my niece Bria, she's 13 now. When she
Mhm.
was like 8, she fell in love with Bailey and her hugs and her. They. I know people in the wrestling community, they do not remember when they were a kid and how they felt when these
Mhm.
people came out, or when they
Yes.
got to see them on TV, and when they got a shirt and the smiles on their faces and how good those people made them
Mhm.
feel. This is what we need. I'm 100% on board with her doing this. I love it. Um,
Absolutely.
so
She needed a change, I think, and whether people agree with this change or not, obviously it was the right decision. Look where she is.
yeah,
You know, even though she's in a triple threat match with Charlotte and Rhea Ripley, which
and
no disrespect to either of them, to
oh no, no,
Charlotte,
no, no.
but
And I don't really see them keeping the title on Nikki for very long, but
no, but it
that's
creates
okay.
a good it's creating some good stuff right now as far as
Yeah.
that goes.
I think
That's
it's
probably the best
different
part
too.
about Raw.
I think it's different too because I think people are tired of seeing Charlotte and Rhea Ripley just go over and over and over and over and over again.
It's kind of like they don't. It's like they don't know what to do with Charlotte past Rhea Ripley.
They don't know what to do with anyone right
Well, yeah,
now,
yeah,
but it's worse in their case.
yeah. You kind of feel for them because you're like, yeah, really, dang
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah, it's on repeat. They got stuck. I'm gonna do an old school reference. These kids ain't gonna know what it is. It's like when the record got stuck and it just keep going. Yep.
We used to yell remix, and when it would happen at the bar or some
Yep.
remix.
My nephew who watches Peaches and Power Bombs is probably like, "What is a record?" Sorry, Wyatt.
Yeah, I tell my nephew, you don't know how good you had it.
Yeah.
I was like, you didn't have a WWE network that you can just bring
Mm-mm.
up whatever anytime you wanted to. Stuff would happen you may not know for 3 months. You
Yep.
find out via WWE magazine,
Yep.
or the videotape come out in the video
Yes.
store.
The videos tape. We used to rent those all the time. Me and my brother.
Yeah, me too. Like my best friend, she would record the pay-per-views, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like the company will catch on and block her from recording. I said, dude, you don't know the struggle.
Everybody recorded the pay-per-views. I
Hmm.
remember one time my dad recorded one. It was an old WCW one, I think, and I think he recorded it over one of our birthday parties, and my mom got so mad by
Legit,
accident.
that would be something me and my brother would do, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Sorry, mom.
Yeah, but it's
Honestly, I
like
don't know, but
I was like, Mom, I would rather watch, an old 98, Bash of the Beach than me running around as a 3-year-old. But
yeah, in like a pair of underwear or diapers.
oh yeah, yeah. But
Kids have it good these days. They just don't know. They
no,
do
they
not
don't.
know.
They
Like,
don't.
do you know how much money we spent on pay-per-views every month?
Gosh.
Oh my god. I'm like, you get it for free with the network now. We had to pay
Yeah,
$50 a pop. And
yeah.
sometimes we did parties and
Five.
split it. Bring your own
The
food, bring your own
pay-per-views are
beer.
$5. $5.
I'm like, hey, y'all don't know how good you have it.
Nope. You
No,
invite a bunch of people over and have everybody chip in $10 and.
yeah. Or they'll bring food or beer or something and call it even.
Yep.
Yeah, we used to have a ton of parties at our house. Be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, Royal Rumble's on. You coming over? Yeah, we're coming. So
Yep.
I'm like, dude, you don't even know. No
Those are
idea.
good times, though. That's good times, though.
Oh yeah.
Friends of mine and I are having our first wrestling party in 2 years for SummerSlam.
Oh
Very
nice.
excited.
One of my friends comes over and we kind of have a little mini party. She brings pizza, but the last couple of times I surprised her and cooked. Do you want me to
Oh,
bring
that's
pizza? I was
nice.
like, no, I cooked.
All right, we need to get back on track because we are
I
way
know.
behind. They're like, we don't care what you
Yeah.
ate. Get back to talking about wrestling.
Mhm.
All right, so the big stuff on over there on SmackDown, or do you? Well, we'll touch on Raw just for a quick second since we talked about Nikki Ash and
Okay.
Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley. This is good for Bobby Lashley because
Yeah.
Goldberg is credible. The match won't last long. It'll be 5 minutes tops, if that. And
I think with Goldberg earlier this year, which I totally forgot about until I talked to a friend of mine and he proved me wrong. Um, that Goldberg come back, I think at the Royal Rumble, him and Drew McIntyre
mm-hmm.
faced off, and Drew McIntyre earned his respect. So I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm okay with that. I don't like Goldberg. Yeah, bleh. I don't like Goldberg, but I was like, okay, that's okay by me. Moving
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Yeah.
I understand it. I'm okay with it because it makes Bobby Lashley look good.
Yeah.
I
So
was hoping for someone else, and we won't talk about him.
no.
So
No. He's not ready to come out of the woods yet, Tina.
he
Sorry.
needs to. He needs to. Please, please save me.
Yeah, I think it's good for Bobby Lashley when you look at the look at it from a different spectrum. I think it is
hmm
good for Bobby Lashley, and I think Bobby Lashley, he hasn't had that memorable of a run to me, but I'm glad they finally got him right. The
hmm
belt's on the right person, I think.
Right. It's
Um,
really not his fault because Raw is
yeah,
extremely unwatchable, and that's not his fault. And
no, but they have gotten Bobby Lashley right,
yep,
and I think dismantling the Hurt business really hurt, no pun intended.
yeah, it did.
And because
They shouldn't have done that.
I loved the Hurt business, and it made no sense. But yeah, they got the belts on the right guy. I just wish they do better by him because
hmm
they after all this time they finally got Bobby Lashley right. I love MVP as his mouthpiece.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That works.
Yeah, so I'm totally on board with it. I just I wish they do right by him, but
Yep.
I think and then I'm kind of as much as we love Drew, I'm kind of glad to see him doing something else now. I
Me
like
too.
his story with gender
Yeah,
because there's
that's
history
interesting.
behind that.
hmm
So I like that. Um, I'm absolutely okay with that. So,
Yep.
but yeah, after Goldberg, I mean, literally, who would be next for Bobby Lashley? And don't say it. Besides him.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's hard. It really is
AJ
hard to say because I'm
Styles?
sitting here thinking, and I'm just like, well, what about Keith Lee?
He can't be
He
losing to
just
Karrion
came
Cross
back,
every other week.
huh?
He can't be losing to Karrion Cross every other week.
That's true. I don't know, dude. I don't know what they're doing with Karrion Cross
They don't know what
on
they're
Raw.
doing with Karrion
Um,
Cross.
poor Karrion Cross is unstoppable in NXT, and they put him on Raw to die.
Yep.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
And Keith Lee just recently came back. Whenever he's ready to talk about his absence, I'll be interested to know what happened.
Me too.
Apparently, there's something going on, and he's just not ready to talk about it yet. And I mean, it's understandable.
Yep.
But I really, I'm really interested to see what's going on and how
Mhm.
he's doing now because first and foremost, their health and well-being is
Right.
super important.
It's more
If you're
important.
not
It's the most
well,
important.
yeah, if you're not well, it's, understandable, it's not everything when you're sick. And
Mhm.
that could, whether it's mental illness or something,
Yep.
So, but yeah, I would definitely say Keith Lee and Karrion Kross are up there, but Raw booking, where NXT talent goes to die,
Yep.
it's kind of not looking good.
Nope.
But those would be two formidable opponents as far as I'm concerned. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley if they ever decided to do it.
Yeah, AJ is always a credible opponent. You can just
Oh,
snatch him right
absolutely.
up and put him up there no
Oh yeah,
matter when.
you could just like pull him out of nowhere and be like, "You're facing him tonight." Okay, whatever. Shoot.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now, on the SmackDown side, we got a lot of exciting things going on over there.
Oh yeah, we like it a whole lot better than what's going on Raw.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
Roman
I'll
Reigns.
talk about this first because I know once we talked about the other subject,
Mm.
we're gonna forget about it.
Mhm.
I am 100% ready for Seth Rollins versus Edge. That
Oh
is a
yes.
dream match caliber.
Yes it is.
Mm,
Let's
mm,
do
mm.
it. Let's go.
I'm ready for that. That's gonna steal the show.
And
Bank on it on peaches and power bombs.
yes. And they've actually been smart because they took something that happened years ago
Yep.
with their little quip that they had in the ring, and they didn't know Edge was ever going to get to come back when
Right.
they did this. But they're like,
They
"Hey,
capitalized on that. It's
yeah,
one good thing
that's."
they're doing.
I was like, "Y'all acknowledge something that happened in the past." I thought like it poof it, it didn't happen no more.
Girl, honestly, I forgot all about it.
Yep. Well, I did too, and but when they brought it up, I was like, "Yeah, I remember that. That's
Yeah.
awesome." So,
hmm
yeah,
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
really excited about that, and I like how their feud kind of parlays because Seth thinks he deserves a title shot. Edge deserves a title shot. He gets
mhm.
screwed. Seth screws him, and okay, you want to put yourself in a situation? Let's handle our business elsewhere.
Yep.
And that allowed for the second thing we're going to talk about: Roman
Roman
Reigns versus
Reigns.
John Cena.
I'm so excited about this.
I am too. I am too. It's nothing going to be nothing like the first time. It's already
Mhm.
just the things they had to say about each other. It's already way better than they said the first time.
Yeah, it is. Oh man, Roman. I know we say it every time, and people might get tired of hearing, oh, two girls talking about Roman again. He's just, he's just on a whole nother level.
Yes.
If I can,
To me, it's so. To me, as somebody who's really supported Roman since like pretty much day one,
yeah, I'll give it to
it's so
you.
satisfying to watch. It really is.
Me, I was
I
indifferent.
mean, even though how he presents and all is really hot, but it's really satisfying to watch because he has grown as a person.
Yeah,
He
he
has
has.
grown as a superstar,
Yep.
and his character has completely evolved. And he's totally owning it right now.
Yeah, he is.
And I think him and John part two, it's going to be way better. It's kind of like
Yep.
AJ Styles and John Cena part two. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
first time was, but the second time was so much better, and I think that's
Yeah.
going to be the case here.
The match was good though.
Not
Yeah.
saying the match sucked because it
And
didn't.
man,
I
and
think when you put somebody like John Cena and Roman together now, fans are
mhm.
going to expect more. So
Yep.
should you should when you can figure the match out or whatever, that needs to be taken into consideration. Not that I'm telling
Yep.
them what to do or anything, but I think that's with John Cena and AJ Styles. The first time didn't achieve what it wanted to, but that second
Right.
match did, and it was so much better.
It was. It was. And I've never been so happy to see John Cena in my entire life.
Right? Me too. And I'm not a John fan anymore, but yeah, I was excited to see him come back and
I'm actually I actually like him more now than I ever did because when I came back in, it came back into wrestling. It was after the um the ruthless aggression era.
okay.
And he was already this smiley, I have bright colors, I'm fruity pebbles, look at me, I'm John Cena
Yeah.
character. He
Mhm.
was, bolted into that. So,
Mhm.
I was like, and this is me used to people like The Rock or Stone Cold, people like that. And I'm like, that guy took over The Rock spot. Him?
I remember when John was really starting to get over in the ruthless aggression. He was a heel, and he was doing these matches with the Undertaker and stuff like that. And I remember it was like 2003, and I remember telling my brother, I said, "Mark my words, when he turns face, that's gonna be your new face of WWE." And I was right.
Yeah, you were.
And John was John's character at the time, it was something that fans craved. This is something fans could
Mm-hmm.
relate to. And, yeah, he evolved with the jorts and all that, but, he, I'll always love John Cena as the Doctor of Thugonomics. That was my favorite. And
Mm-hmm.
every time he brings it back, like, I'm 20 all over again. Like, oh my God. I'm a college student again, literally.
Yeah, yeah. And,
I would love to see him do something on Roman this time around too.
yeah. And then when he left, and you have what we have,
Mhm.
and then he comes back, and you sit there and think, wasn't very fair to John Cena. Because John Cena's entertaining. John Cena has charisma.
He
John
really does.
Cena John Cena can cut a promo. John
Mhm.
Cena's good with kids. You know, keep going. John Cena can put on a good match no matter what anybody says.
Yes.
And I
Yeah,
wasn't
with the
fair to
whole
John
five moves
Cena.
thing, everybody gave him a hard time for that, but it was the same thing with The Rock and Stone Cold.
Everybody does that.
And yeah, he just took the brunt of that. But
I
I think like with his matches with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, here we go again with them two. But just to name down, that was some of John's best work.
yeah.
And you know, with somebody like people like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, that's going to require the extra effort because
Yeah.
they're not those type of wrestlers. You know, go in, do a few things, and done. They like
Mhm.
to put on pretty much classics,
Yeah.
masterpieces, if you will. That was just how they were as Mac technic. Both of those guys were Mac technicians,
Mhm.
and John, I wouldn't consider him a Mac technician, but for all that he's done in the ring and stuff, he wasn't bad. He was not terrible. There's
No.
a reason why he was the face of WWE. Not only could he like not only could he you know have this presentation and everything, but he backed it up too.
Yeah. It takes two. And people always say, "Oh, AJ Styles can wrestle a broom." And it would be great. And I understand what they're getting, and I've said that too. And
I
it's
mean,
just an
AJ
analogy,
Styles, hello.
but it does take two to
Mhm.
make a match go from here to here. It's not just
Mhm.
because of AJ Styles or CM Punk or Daniel Bryan or Finn Balor or whoever it is in there with him.
Mhm.
John Cena brings it too.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns brings it too. you know,
Yes.
um,
I think with every top guy, I think they're just gonna get that every time because
and
they
John
were
Cena's
unfair to
got
Roman too. You know, God, they're still unfair to Roman.
yeah, there's more to it than people think. There's a psychology to it. There's a timing to it. You have to be in the right spot at the right time. It's not just flipping around and going look at me. It's
Mhm.
there's so much that goes into that, and you have to do it exactly right. And all of those guys have that ability and beyond to be able to do it. And
Mhm.
they're mad. People don't give them enough credit, and
Yeah.
John Cena's had good matches with Brock Lesnar. I don't care what anybody says. So
You know, I'm gonna agree with you because I remember his match with Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins at Royal Rumble. I think it was 2015. It was good.
yeah.
It was.
So
I've said it before. I actually enjoyed that match.
yep.
Yeah, Seth. I remember
Mm.
Seth was like the highlight of it. He surprised me in that match. I want to say, but yeah, it was a good match. I thought it was going to be a disaster, but they proved me wrong.
All right. I know we didn't talk about this when we were going over our notes, Sarah. So can I throw just a little? Um, I don't know. Can we go off script for just a little bit and talk
Yeah.
about one more thing before we leave? I think it's important.
Okay.
We're going to go over on the AEW side of things. And I know there's a ton of stuff going on there, and we'll do a podcast at some point talking about more about AEW. But I want to talk about the death match between Chris Jericho and Nick Cage.
Oh wow, I
I
haven't
think
caught
we
it, so I want to hear your thoughts.
I think you and I might have different um opinions on this, and that's okay. And I'm not
Mhm.
going to bash you for your opinion, and I know you're not going to bash me because we are friends, and we have respect for each other. So this is coming from this is a very personal situation for me. Okay, I understand why they do it because they want to, because there's sometimes storylines go where it's really edgy and there's nowhere else to go but just try to kill each other.
Right.
Okay, I understand that. Personally, I cannot watch it
Yeah.
without being on edge, and this is why I am a huge empath, which means I feel other people's emotions extreme. You go, oh, that's too bad when you hear someone has cancer. I cry even if I barely know them. um
Mhm.
I cannot watch horror movies. I can't watch stuff like that, so I get really
Mhm.
emotional. I used to cry during McFoley's matches when I was young, and
Mhm.
I, I I don't think it's a good idea to have it on national television. You can have it on your pay-per-views, you can have it on your internet shows, but I don't really like the idea of having it on national television just because you're trying to get everyone to watch, and that's not an everyone thing. That's a
Mhm.
specific place,
Mhm.
a specific dynamic of people who like that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with liking it. I just personally don't understand what's so great about, oh, look, a guy is slicing someone open with a pizza cutter. That's
Yeah.
fun. I hope they do it again. To me, I'm like, oh no, he's bleeding out, and that's so horrible, and he might die. You
Yeah.
know, so that's just my
Yeah,
take.
I haven't caught the match, but I agree with you.
Oh, okay.
I
I
don't
thought you might have.
yeah. Well, no, they're not my favorite either, and I feel like when it comes to hardcore wrestling, there's a time and a place for it,
Yeah.
and it's like you said, on a pay-per-view, yeah, I would save that for a pay-per-view. National TV, I think that's a little much, but you know, when you think of Nick Gage, he's right up there as far as
Yes.
extreme wrestlers go. I mean, You think of New Jack and Sandman and all of them. He's
Mhm.
right up there.
Yeah.
Me myself, I haven't caught the match yet, but it would probably be one where I would probably watch a little bit of it and be like, okay, this is too much for me
It was too
because
much.
yeah, I think there's a time and a place for all that. Not that I'm a fan of it. Some hardcore matches, I'm like, okay, whatever, but
Mhm.
too much of it, I'm like, oh gosh, let me
There's
let
some
me
of it
see
I
some mat
can
wrestling.
yeah, there's some of it I can handle, like, the kendo sticks, not a big deal
Yeah,
to me. Maybe even I think the closest to getting too crazy that I can handle is like the thumbtacks. I can handle the thumbtacks okay
yeah,
ish. But once you start doing that barbed wire, fire, um,
mhm,
cutting each other with stuff, that's when it becomes way too much for me and I can't
yeah,
handle it.
yeah. It's kind of like one of those things where everybody kind of has a limit, and I think that's ours, and
Yeah.
that's just something that doesn't appeal to me, and there's nothing wrong with liking it.
Okay.
But just
Yeah.
for someone like me and you, we're just like, yeah, give us our mat wrestling, please.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
need all that. But yeah,
Give me
with
my
that being said,
stories. Give
like
me
I
my
said, there's a
stories.
time and a place for that. Um, I think, I believe they did it on national TV, obviously to gain an audience. And not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but no, on national TV, probably not the best idea.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's kind of where I stand on it. So more or less, I agree with you. And I remember while you were talking, I was sitting there thinking, do you remember when Terry Funk was Chainsaw Charlie in WWE and the New Age
No.
Outlaws put him? I think it was Mick Foley. They put him and I think it was Mick Foley in that trash can and pushed it off the stage and I
Oh,
think it was
yes.
yeah, I think it was like
Yes.
Terry Runnels crying. I was right there with her. I'm like, oh my god, I hope
Mhm.
they're
Mhm.
okay. that was
Yep.
my that was my first
Yep.
taste of Terry Funk. Why? I was pretty naive then.
Well, I don't we didn't actually watch the pay-per-view, but I remember the clips of
Mhm.
the Hell in the Cell match between Mick Foley and Undertaker, and everybody at school was talking about it. And so I went, watched the show right the Monday after,
Mhm.
and they showed clips of it. And I remember just like my little, my little 10-year-old self just crying her little eyes out because she
Oh.
thought Mick Foley was dead.
yeah. It just it just takes so much to be in those types of matches and
Mm-hmm.
that's
It
why I'm
does.
like when it comes especially when it comes to stuff like that, sometimes you're just like, eh. But in all reality, I think more or less, I appreciate their sacrifice. Might
Well,
not agree with it, but I appreciate their sacrifice because
I appreciate it too because I know that they're coming from a spot of I want to give everything that I have to
yeah.
my fans, and
Mhm.
I respect that.
Mhm.
I don't think it's necessary, but I respect their thought process and what makes them do things like that.
Yeah.
But, and it, if anyone is wondering, yes, I know that some of the weapons are gimmicked. Yes, I know that that glass was probably Hollywood glass where it just, shatters. I
Mhm.
understand all that. My feelings don't.
Yeah.
So my mind and my feelings are like going during the whole thing, and I was like, I gotta turn this off. So,
mhm.
but anyway, I think that is all for right now.
Mhm.
We will be back soon with another episode, and um, me and Sarah have been talking, and we want to know what you guys think. We want to do a post SummerSlam episode streamed live to Facebook. If you
Yes.
guys are into that, you guys let us know.
Absolutely. whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook page, or even here on YouTube. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if you're down with it, just let us know in the comments. Also, like, subscribe, and share. Tell everybody about us. We just hit 1,000 views plus on the Hangman Adam Page video, so that we're very excited about that. Thank you for
Yes,
that.
thank you so much. It was so much fun to make.
And Tina, let everybody know where they can find you in the meantime.
Um, well, I haven't been writing a whole bunch, but I do on occasion write for Wrestling Inc. And you can find me on my Twitter at Mod Queen Fitness, and I think I'm the same thing on Facebook and Instagram. So just follow me over there, and we'll talk wrestling.
All right. And you can find me on Diva Dirt. And I joined a new site not too long ago called Sorry, Presley. Geek Street Society. It's something that's making some moves. He's trying to do new things, and I'm really excited to be a part of the project. And definitely, definitely check it out. GeekStreetSociety.com, and also DivaDirt.com,
Oh,
and of course Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Peaches and Power Bombs.
yep.
You can find us there. You know, tell us what you want to see. If you want to ask us a question, that's fine too. Sometimes we don't get to our messages. It's okay. You can respond in the comments. We'll get that a lot quicker.
Yes, yes.
So but yeah, I was trying to see if Mina was there, but it was my dog. So yes, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for spending time with us, and we appreciate you. We look forward to seeing you next time.
All right, bye.
Ciao.